This is The Wheel Weaves, a Wheel of Time podcast with no spoilers. Welcome, listeners. I'm your host, Dani, and I'm the first-time reader who's going through this 15-book series chapter by chapter. As always, there's no spoilers past the chapter we're covering, and that means it's totally safe for first-time readers. I'm joined by my co-host, Brett, who's a longtime fan, and he's acting as my tour guide on this journey. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our executive producers, Brandy and Kirkwood, and Andre the Man in White. Before we get into things today, we just want to thank and welcome a new member to the Wheel Weaves Patreon team. So thank you and welcome to Callum Evans. We really want to thank you for your support and your generosity. In this episode, we're talking about chapters 31 and 32 of The Shadow Rising.
Yeah, so chapter 31, we have assurances, and chapter 32 is questions to be asked.
Now, long chapters, lots of pages.
A lot. They were really long.
And I mean, like, some stuff happens, but, like, not 35 pages worth of stuff.
It was, like, sprinkled throughout. Like, there's some really important tidbits. But, yeah, not jam-packed. But it is a very special episode, and I don't know if you know why.
125 episodes.
No! Oh. We are officially halfway through The Shadow Rising.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that happened this chapter, not last chapter.
I didn't even know. Okay.
Yeah. So,
I don't even know how many episodes we have. I should probably count one day.
Nah, it's not important. We'll miss the 200th. It's fine. We missed the 100th. We'll miss the next one. It's fine.
Nah.
But anyways, halfway through. Cool. We did it.
Cool. Okay.
So I want to start us off with a fun fact. And I thought, since we've been in Perrin's head for so long, we should do a Perrin-centric fun fact.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's pretty good. And we're just going to scratch the surface here because I'm cooking up a bit of a bonus episode for this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a few in the works.
You got a lot of bonus episodes in the works.
I actually do. And we have we
have zero free time at the moment. So.
Yeah. Between babies and work and
everything. Yeah.
But they're cooking up. So we know that Rand has some similarities to Thor. Matt's got some similarities to Odin. And Perrin is in part based on Perun from Slavic mythology.
Ooh, Perun.
Yeah, Perun.
Got it.
A little bit different, but there are some similarities here. So you know, Perun in multiple Slavic languages means thunder or lightning bolt. But here are some, not all, of the similarities. So Perun was the ruler of the living world, sky and earth, and was often symbolized by an eagle sitting on top of the tallest branch of their sacred tree. So the eagle, Perrin is represented by because of, do you remember?
Min's viewing?
Well, kind of, not really.
Oh, because of the hawk, the falcon,
and Perrin's the eagle of Manetheren.
Oh, of Manetheren.
Yeah, the red eagle. We had a whole discussion about that.
I remember it.
Okay, good. That's the first similarity. Then we also have Perun, and he had many mythical weapons. Some included stones, and we've seen Perrin use a sling. That was like one of the first things.
Sure.
Arrows. We know Perrin's good with the bow. Mm-hmm. And then Perun also had his hammer and his axe.
There it is.
There it is. We did it. Okay. And the last one I'm going to leave you with. It's a little bit sad, but Perun also had another weapon, which were mythical golden apples. And the golden apples released his lightning, which was a symbol of ultimate destruction. And we just, in the last chapters, got the reference to the apples.
Well, the apple trees that his family's buried under?
Exactly.
That's a stretch.
Well, okay, but not really. It's like the ultimate weapon, ultimate thing for ultimate destruction. Perun and his apples, Perrin and the apple tree representing his entire family being dead. Perrin's going out for blood because his entire family's murdered. So it's like, there's a little bit. It's a little
stretch,
bit.
But I appreciate the effort.
It's not as big of a stretch as some things that I've said.
Right.
So
you're right.
But it's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
There's more, but that's just a little tidbit. So
yeah, you know what I'll never forget? Min the penis god. That one I'll never forget. So.
Yeah, it's like a flail in one hand and his mighty erection in the other.
There was no connection.
It was great. Sometimes you go looking and it's just like not there.
There. All you find are erections. It's the internet after all. Okay. Oh man. Okay, so last time Perrin went home with his traveling band of misfits.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Yeah, okay. He also learned that his whole family is dead.
Sad.
And that Pat and Thane and the White Cloaks are here, being their terrible selves.
Yeah, and I think that it gets, like, I don't know about you, and we'll talk about it, but I feel like it gets more confusing after
Yes,
these two chapters.
You're absolutely right.
It's like, I thought that maybe we'll figure things out, but then it's just like, it gets worse.
It gets worse.
So.
Right. Because there's also Trollocs here.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And it's
maybe,
like a layer of
like,
more confusion.
Why are they here? Who are they here under?
Who are they here under? And we got to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we also have Marin Alvear here, who has taken this group to the old sick house to hide away with some Aes Sedai.
Yeah, and we just got the warders, and you kind of speculated about who you thought the warders and the Aes Sedai were, and you were kind of sort of, you were right.
I was sort of kind of right.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
So we get chapter 31, Assurances, and we get the White Cloak Sunburst, which I paid attention to this time.
I was gonna ask if you paid attention.
I predicted it was going to be different than it was. I thought that Perrin was going to get to interacting with
White
some
Cloaks.
White Cloaks.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead
Not
of like,
just like White Cloak perspective.
Okay.
Which is like fine. It's nice to know what they're up to.
Yeah.
Well, it's not nice.
In a way.
It's terrible to know what they're up to. But, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Okay.
So we start in a Perrin perspective. We have one of the warders returning to tell them that they are allowed to go meet the Aes Sedai.
Yeah. And the Aiel are impressed with the sneaking skills.
Sort of.
Kind of. Well, okay.
No.
There's this whole dynamic between Gaul and Bane and Chiad.
Yeah, because Gaul is like, ooh, they're good. And then Chiad is like, a child could hide in this.
Yeah, so I feel like there's more honesty coming from Gaul right now. I don't know. That's just how I feel.
Maybe. Okay. Well, we get to the sick house, and it's broken down. And we get a lot of description about how broken down this place is.
Or it just appears that way because they're hiding there.
No, it's broken down.
That too.
There's a tree growing through the middle of it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Okay.
You're right. It's both. It can be both.
Okay, so the first Aes Sedai is, drumroll, this is the one I 100% got right.
You did.
It's Varen.
Yes, but I think we made good points last time where like we didn't see the reuniting of Varen and her warder.
Right.
But now
we also didn't see her for an entire book, basically.
That's true. That's like
a book and a half now that we're halfway through The Shadow Rising.
Like it makes sense, but we didn't see that, so. But they're back together,
They're
that's
back
nice.
together, they're here. Perrin recognizes her.
Yep.
It's fun that I'm right. And Perrin thinks he has to be careful around her.
Yeah.
He knows the sneaky one. Well, he knows he's careful around all Aes Sedai, but he specifically thinks, this one pays too much attention to what I do.
Yeah. He also gets that from like the Egwene remembrance of what she said about Elida and Alana showing too much interest in Rand.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, all the Aes Sedai are kind of interested in them. So.
I know. That's the thing, right? Like, they're the most interesting thing to happen to the world in
since like
1,000
Archer
years.
Hawkwind.
Yeah, quite
like,
honestly.
literally.
Yeah. So, of course, they're interested.
Yeah.
But the second Aes Sedai is Alana.
Yeah.
Now, I have to get partial credit because I only named 2 Aes Sedai.
You did.
That I knew that this could be.
Yeah.
I said Varen and Alana.
Okay.
But I dismissed it because I knew Alana was green.
Yeah.
And that would mean she has 2 warders.
Which is super sad.
Yeah.
It's kind
I
of sad.
ruled it out immediately.
Yeah.
She did have 2 warders, and that's a sad story. Which
we're going to get. I have a question about Alana. Do you remember the last time we saw her?
Was she at Egwene's testing?
Yes, she was.
She was the one who Egwene was asking about what it means to be green, right?
Yeah, and I believe she was the one who was like, "Oh, I need to take on some of the punishments or something like that."
Right, after the Terangrial went all funny because Egwene had a different Terangrial in the same room, but nobody knew that.
Yeah, and Alana asked to do penance for failing to do her job of keeping Egwene safe.
Yeah.
And it was like that really weird kind of situation.
Right. And then that made Egwene super skeptical of her.
And it was like, is she actually just being a weirdo, or is it like ulterior motives?
Right.
We never really found out.
Right.
And now she's here.
Now she's here, and I have to say, for the most part, even though I named her, I ruled her out, and then I said I wanted a new spunky Aes Sedai here with Varen.
Alana can be spunky.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted someone I hadn't met before or heard of, but this works too.
Okay,
I get part points.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now I'm annoyed, and I'm glad that Marin leaves shortly, because we have Marin, Varen, and Perrin. And then later we have Dane and Fane.
Yeah.
So...
It's good.
Oh, goodness.
It's good.
Yeah, okay. So at least we don't have Egwene and Elaine also.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Meryn says that the best way she could think of keeping Perrin safe was bringing him here, considering that Varen was asking about the boys when she showed up, and she feels the need to be very, like, apologetic, and...
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't want to cross Aes Sedai. They're still, like, the mythical people to the two Rivers folks, so...
Yeah.
Like, we know Aes Sedai are just, like, people.
Yeah.
They still don't know that.
Yeah. And Varen's like, totally cool. Don't even worry about it. This was excellent. You did the exact right thing.
Yeah, but don't do it again unless the
more
other
boys show up, because I want them too.
Anybody else here? No?
Yeah,
No?
any more
Okay.
Aiel or Ogier I can learn from?
Yeah.
Because I'm excited to learn from them.
Yep.
That's what Varen's
Stories. That's what we're here for.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Loyal's excited to talk about books with her. I feel like at some point I have said out loud that Varen and Loyal would be best friends.
Yeah.
I feel like
That
I've said that
conversation,
somewhere.
That would take forever.
It sounds like they both would enjoy it.
Several hours later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it, though. So Perrin just demands to know why Varen is here, and, I switched to calling her Mistress Alvier.
Because Meryn?
Because Meryn.
Yeah.
Tells him to mind his manners, and he's like, no.
How do you feel about Perrin being all, like,
aggressive?
Yeah.
I like it.
He's coming out the gates pretty hot.
He's gotta.
Yeah. No, I get
think that
it.
you have to stand your ground with these ladies.
You're otherwise going to get steamrolled.
100%. They're just going to use you as a doormat.
Yeah.
For the most part, right? So.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're cool with it.
Mm-hmm.
Meryn and Fael are clearly not.
No.
So.
At this point, though, the Aes Sedai send Meryn back to the village, and then Varen tells Perrin that he has their sympathies as well. So they know about his whole family.
Now, she does say if there was anything we could have done, we would have done it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those, like, Aes Sedai, is it a truth? Is it like a could they have done something?
Mm-hmm.
It's a... I like to kind of nitpick when Aes Sedai talk about stuff.
I know. Like, there's only so much they could do, though, without completely revealing themselves. And we actually do get that in a little bit.
We do.
So Perrin still wants to know why they're here, because it seems like quite the coincidence that they are here when there are White Cloaks and Trollocs here. And Varen says, well, it's not a coincidence at all.
Yeah.
But turns out they're here on a recruitment mission.
Kinda, sorta.
Or at least that's their story.
That's the story. There's a few stories.
Yeah, and they all make sense.
So, I also want to talk about this, like, side little conversation that Varen and Alanna have about the whole culling of the one power ability.
Mm-hmm, the theory of why there are so few Aes Sedai left in the world.
Yeah.
It might be a breeding issue, which we've sort of talked about.
And we don't really know, like, the hereditariness.
Yeah.
Of the one power being transferred.
What you're trying to say.
Yeah. And Sheriam believes that it's like 3,000 years of culling the ability out because he's still all the men, and no one wants to make babies with, like, X-Men channelers.
Yeah, but Varen said something about Aes Sedai being allowed to have children, and that didn't impress anyone.
Yeah, and they talk about the Whites' mad plan, like the White Ajah's mad plan to, like, let people have kids with gentled men.
Yeah.
And then Alviarin doesn't like the idea of her personally taking the lead on that one.
No.
We've met Alviarin like once before.
Is that the one who Elida was chatting with in the hallway?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're both kind of uppity, so...
I wonder how the Reds would feel about that. Like, the dudes are gentled.
Yeah.
Let's, like, use them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question.
I wonder, like, if there'd be, like, stud fees. Like, how would these men actually be used in this scenario?
That's terrible.
It wouldn't be good, right? Like,
yeah. It's like a breeding program is what it is.
100% it would be.
Yeah.
And
are you paying, like, women who might want to potentially
carry
like a surrogate?
Yeah, but then there's no guarantee that they would only have girls. And men still are going crazy when they're channeling, so...
So it's like you're taking the risk of, like, bringing a person in that is going to go mad.
I think 100%. Like, the Shanchen went and scoured and found all sorts of women.
Yeah.
Who at least could be taught to channel or had the spark.
Yeah.
So, from the very beginning, I assumed that the White Tower had a recruitment program. I thought one Ajah was dedicated to finding women.
Yes, and we kind of found out that that's not true.
It's not.
And then it kind of seems like they maybe have a sort of plan, but also not really, just because of the fact that...
They should take my advice.
Well, I mean, Alana says that like, you know how many towns and villages we have to go through to find like a handful of girls.
Yeah.
But also, we have never heard of anybody doing that anyway.
At
so
all. Like, if you're out in the world doing crap anyway,
yeah.
Also, look for women who can channel.
Yeah. And it just doesn't seem like they're doing that right now. So it's a very weird situation with the entire process.
Yeah. But they're here because there are obviously a lot of women who can channel here. They've already found like 3 in Watch Hill or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
But you know what was a big disappointment? As usual.
Terran Fairy. They mix with the outside too much.
Right.
They don't have as much as the old blood.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Perrin is getting quite impatient with this story, and he gets frustrated. He wants to know why they aren't doing anything to help. But Loyal says under his breath that he doesn't want Perrin to anger the Aes Sedai.
It's like Loyal's only mission here.
Yeah, and Fael doesn't like him speaking like this either, and says that Moraine's easy manner let Perrin get away with too much, and that really amuses them.
I gotta say, this is like comedy gold right here from
Hilarious.
Varen. It's like, Moraine, easy-mannered? Never noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like probably totally straight-faced. I don't know. It's just, it's so funny.
Yeah, because she's not. Right?
Like Moraine?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, depending on who you ask, right?
I guess so.
Like, I feel like Moraine has, like, let the leash go. Like,
100%.
she has.
Well, because she's realized to get what she wants out of these stubborn Two Rivers
Ta'Viren
teenagers.
Ta'Viren teenage boys? Yeah.
Then she has to let them... You know, she has to answer some questions. She has to let their hormones speak a little bit.
But I mean, Eye of the World Moraine to the Shadow Rising Moraine, very different.
Very.
So
that's true.
But I mean, yeah.
Okay. So they go on to explain to Perrin that they are bound by the restrictions of the 3 oaths, and they can't just wander around blowing up White Cloak camps because they want to, because they don't like White Cloaks.
Yeah.
They can't just use the power as a weapon. They can only use it in self-defense. And then this is where we get the warder story.
Yes.
That one of Alana's warders, who she came with, died.
Yeah. Owen, but with an extra couple letters in there.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah. But I mean, that's pretty sad because we know that like some bad stuff happens when a warder dies.
Mm-hmm. She felt every arrow that went through him.
Yeah. We don't really know that whole relationship between warders
I'd say
and Aes
I know
Sedai,
it pretty well.
I mean, depends on the Aes Sedai, right? It's
I don't
different.
know so much, but I know some things.
Yeah. So like, obviously pretty sad, and they don't seem to have been here very long, so it does seem pretty recent.
I wouldn't say they haven't been here long.
Well, okay, in
what context?
Because
they were in Watch Hill.
Yeah.
And now they're down here.
Are we talking like weeks, a month?
Probably.
Like,
that seems like a long time to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
When you're traveling by horseback? I just feel like everything is stretched out.
I don't know.
You don't go somewhere for a week.
Well, these guys do. They just either need to hop in the ways or a portal stone and poof. You get to go wherever the fuck you want.
This is new, though. It's fast transportation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All
Anyways,
right.
Okay, we can get into it here.
So Alana notices Perrin's injuries, and I think it's Bane who tells them that there were Trollocs in the ways.
Yeah.
And then that confirms for Varen, about that, how the Trollocs are getting here.
Yeah, she thought so.
Because Moraine had mentioned.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense, so.
Yeah, and I like that Varen isn't even a little bit taken back or surprised, or at least she doesn't say anything or show it on her face, that they traveled here via the ways.
Yeah, and I mean, Varen knows that they've traveled the ways and has in fact tried to travel the ways.
She did try. I just think it's funny that she's not like, huh.
Yeah.
You did it on your own, huh?
I mean, she is pretty, straight-faced for everything.
I know, but normally, whoever's perspective we're in will always comment on the facial expressions of the Aes Sedai and stuff. So...
All right, she's holding it in, if there is any emotion there.
Right. So Alana is a little bit surprised about this, and then she calls Perrin Ta'Viren and a young hero.
Yeah.
Which he immediately denies.
She's kind of like up and down in this chapter.
Yeah, and I actually just had a discussion with my dad about how he thinks it's so funny anytime any of these guys say, I'm no hero of any great story.
Yeah.
When they're heroes of these stories.
Oh, yeah,
it's funny.
You don't know you're in the story until after the story's done, usually.
Right. Well, except that Loyal's literally writing your story right now. So
he gets it. He understands it, but...
So Alana is annoyed that Swan let any of them go because it's dangerous to have 3 Taviran just like running around loose in the world.
She says something, the way she says it and the name she brings up is very interesting. I gotta point it out here because she says, like, she never understood why the Emerald let you 3 go on her way, but Elida is having fits over it, and she's not the only one, but, like, she is definitely at the front of that pack. So,
well, we know that.
yeah, it's just that. Like, but the fact that Alana knows that,
yeah,
and they're here, and like we don't know the time differential,
yeah.
So,
okay.
And then what does Alana say after that?
She heals them.
Nope, before that.
I didn't.
Oh my god. Okay.
She said.
Okay, she says, you know, we don't want Taviran running loose. I would have tied a string to each of you, even bonded you, but I'm not so lost to custom yet as to bond a man against his will. Not quite yet.
Yeah.
So, like,
what?
We've talked about this before, too.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know it's against protocol, but it's also, we got the whole Moraine passing lands bond is also, like, a big no-no. So.
Right. Yeah, consent's an issue.
It is. It's just, like, a funny thing I gotta point out.
Yeah. All right. So then Alana heals all of them.
Yeah. And there's that string. But what do we know about healing?
Oh, that you get an affinity or whatever.
Yeah, there's like a something that's passed.
That's true.
So.
I also wanted to point out, because at first I was thinking, like, do Bane and Chiad and Gull all want to be healed by, like, Aes Sedai? But then I remembered that Bane and Chiad saw Nynaeve heal that other one.
Yeah.
Who just ended up dying, like, 3 minutes later.
Yeah.
But they witnessed this, and they already know that Aes Sedai can do this. So
yeah.
At least it's not maybe shocking to them.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's true.
So I just, that was...
Do they want to be? Probably not, but do they let it happen? Probably. So,
yes. Yeah, I feel like this was a little bit of a different situation, because Alana was like, let me heal you, and...
kind of gave the opportunity.
And she sat with her hands on his face for like a while, and they talk about how, you know... he needs
the
to
beauty
be
marks
pretty and stuff like that. So, like, he had an opportunity to be like, please don't heal me.
Yeah.
And, it, you know, I feel like this was a little bit different.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I agree. I agree.
Explicitly ask, but...
it was less of the whole Moraine, like, just, I'm coming at you, and it's happening.
Yeah, and it's happening. And it's like, wow, Moraine, don't do that. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I just have the Fael comments on Perrin's scar on his face and calls it a beauty mark. And he is sure that she is making fun of him. Which is funny.
Maybe.
But I don't think she is at this point. So
no.
He's just like on guard for everything she says.
There's still tension.
Right. So
Ivan?
Oh, see, that H really does throw me off.
I kind of like Yvonne too. That's good.
So Ivan shows up to tell Alana that there are visitors here, and it is Tam and Abel. So yay, I finally get them. I get them. I get to meet them. I'm so excited for this because we haven't seen them or talked to them or heard from them since chapter 7 of the Eye of the World.
Yes, it's been a long time.
And I like them so much. So
yeah, and I remember that back in the Eye of the World, you were like, I can't wait till we get to see Tam again.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
We're here now.
Here we are.
Yeah.
2 years later. That was a fast 2 years, though, I have to say.
Yeah.
So Tam and Abel stare in amazement at Loyal, and then a flicker of recognition crosses Tam's face when he sees the Aiel.
Because?
He fought in the Aiel War.
Yeah.
You've seen Aiel before.
Yeah.
And also, he raised one.
Ah, right. There it is. Yep.
Yeah. He grew up, one grew up in his house.
Yes.
So they're also very excited to see Perrin, and then ask if Mat and Rand are with him.
Yeah.
And Perrin says, no, they're in Tyr. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They would have come if they knew how bad things were. No, they wouldn't have.
No, they wouldn't.
And Mat spends his time dicing and winning and kissing the ladies.
That's true.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. And Rand is spending his time with a pretty golden-haired girl, and I said, that's an understatement.
Yeah. I mean, he gets some of the stuff.
For, what Rand's doing. I get that he's just they're just, women chasing. Cause
keep in mind, he's in front of the 2 Aes Sedai.
I know.
So it's there's that, too.
He's very aware of that.
Very, very. It's it makes me feel like when you're with your friends and then, your parents or your mom's there and your friends are talking about something and you're, trying not to talk about the thing because you know you're going to get in trouble for it.
Or you're
being super vague.
It's just, something that you don't need your parents to know about.
You don't need to know everything.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of. So this kind of puts Tam and at least Abel at ease a little bit. I think that Tam is a little bit more like, sure.
It's not like a reverse situation of like, oh, they're dead. So.
Yes. No, but I think that Abel's like, oh, that sounds like my Matt.
Yeah.
Right? But Tam's like, what else, though?
Well, I got questions for you. I got questions in a little bit, so.
Okay. So Tam starts asking some excellent questions. But Perrin doesn't really answer because the sneaky Aes Sedai are listening.
That's true.
And Tam wants to know, were the Trollocs after you three on Winter Night like Moraine said?
Did you figure that out and why?
Yeah.
So here's a question.
Don't ask questions in front of the Aes Sedai.
Well, here's the other thing. How much does Tam actually know?
I just want him to know more.
So
he just seems like such a aware guy.
Okay. I'm going to say a few things and it might make some people not so happy.
Oh no, I hate when you say controversial things.
Oh, but only because I'm going to talk about the Ravens Prologue. And I know that some people don't necessarily like the Ravens Prologue.
Well, we just found out that the Ravens Prologue is being included in new recent...
Yeah. So, but this is the thing.
Of the World.
Because of the fact that the Ravens Prologue was released after the fact, some people don't necessarily take it as 100%. I don't want to say the word canon because that might be a little bit too strong.
You have to, because now it's actually in the Eye of the World in copies being published this year. Being produced.
That's my point. So I take the Ravens Prologue as it is part of, doesn't matter how much you like it, it's there and it's out there and whatever. But in the Ravens Prologue,
like it?
There's people. Anyways. But, and I understand why, because it is a little bit different. It's a little bit written a little bit differently, and it's just a little bit out of the sequence. But in the Raven's Prologue, Tam Althor tells all the children in Emond's Field stories about the dragon, who he was, how he went mad, all those crazy things about history.
Yep.
And then he gets told he's not allowed to tell those stories anymore.
Yeah.
So you have to assume that Tam knows the real truth about the dragon and whatever the prophecies of the dragon are.
Yeah, 100%.
So like when he goes and finds that little baby on Dragonmount, it's like, what does Tam actually know?
Yeah, all of it.
But that's the question. It's like, we don't necessarily know.
He was out in the world for quite a while, seeing a lot of things. And as soon as these like young, immature, really green people leave their home village, they start experiencing things and they start learning things.
Real fast.
And you want me to believe that Tam went and became a blades master or something, or like had some kind of, my speculation is like warder training of some kind.
He was gone for around 20-ish years. He was gone for a long time.
Some army.
Yep.
I don't remember which one. Ilian maybe?
Yep, Ilian army.
Yeah. And
he was like high rank, like almost at the top rank.
Right. And you're telling me that he knew nothing about...
So that's the question, is like, what does Tam know or suspect? And when he asks questions like this, is it like, is he asking to like confirm his thoughts? Or is he totally in the dark? Like
he's not in the dark at all.
So that's the speculation.
I think he wants to confirm. I think he's maybe confused about Matt and Perrin and what they have to do with anything.
That's fair, yeah.
I mean, that's a natural what's going on, because the Aes Sedai have let slip that they are Taviran.
Yeah.
And we get that in a minute when they go into the woods to talk out of earshot, which is the smartest thing anyone's ever done.
Yeah.
So.
Are they out of earshot, though? We don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I don't think these ones have the sneaky eavesdropping abilities. Yeah.
They ain't dropping no eaves.
Right. So this is when Perrin actually right here says he wants to talk to them outside, for fresh air.
Yeah.
And so they head out, and Fael makes to follow, but Perrin shakes his head, and surprisingly, she listens.
Okay.
Okay. So the dads admire the horses. I'm going to call them the cool dads.
Cool dads?
They are.
They are.
So they admire the horses, which I think is funny, because it isn't Abel, like, doesn't he raise, like, horses, or he sells and trades horses or something?
Yeah, we got a thing from Matt about that.
Yeah. And then we get them also making fun of Perrin's beard.
Makes sense.
And he says, well, Fael likes it. And then they go, oh, it's the girl.
Them's the lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Abel says that he has to handle her by letting her think she's running things. And then when you want to have a say, like, she'll think it's important enough.
Yeah, it's exactly what Marin said about women. So
about handling men.
Yeah, same.
So it's funny.
Yeah, it's good.
So Anyway, now they're probably out of earshot and get caught up. And I have to tell you, I am disappointed that Perrin feels the need to lie here.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I really wished that if he's going to tell anyone any truth about anything going on, it's Tam and Abel.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
I really wished.
I feel like of anybody, these two guys could handle the truth.
100%. Yeah. And they probably expect it, and it's not going to be such a huge surprise.
Yeah, he is really covering tracks right now.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, keep in mind, Perrin just learned his entire family tree is dead, so he still isn't an emotional wreck right now.
Yeah.
He's just covering it up.
Yeah, okay. So Alana has let slip that the 3 boys are Taviran, and Perrin says, well, I haven't seen any signs of it in me or Matt.
Uh-huh.
And then Tam's like, well, maybe you don't know what to look for because you showed up here with Ogier and Aiel.
Yeah, it's like you travel across the world, back and forth, zip-zap, and you got this crew, and that's like, oh, just coincidence?
Yeah, no.
But also, he doesn't mention Rand, and Tam notices that he doesn't mention Rand.
Yeah, because we all know that we've seen signs of him being
I know that Perrin doesn't know that Tam knows that Rand is who he might be, possibly.
Uh-huh. Yeah, definitely. So we also get some info on the Cool Dad's trip up north to Tarvalin.
But that's cool because it's confirmation that did in fact happen.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
So
Lanfear may be rude sometimes and murder people.
She tells the truth. I love her so much.
She doesn't have any reason to lie.
She's so great.
Yeah.
Is she going to show up again soon?
When you don't want her to.
No, at this point, it's crazy irresponsible, but I like it. So, anyway, the Aes Sedai were all hiding things from them when they were at Tarvalin, and then basically just sent them away as fast as they could on a ship south with a bunch of gold. Yeah. And it was almost a trip for nothing.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much the story that we got from all perspectives, too. Yeah. So, pretty rarely I find that stories match up like that all the time.
Yeah. But no, apparently no run-ins with White Cloaks outside of Tarvalin.
Yeah.
So that is a big X for me on that one.
Hey.
Which is fine.
At least you tried.
I tried. So Perrin doesn't want to tell them how tightly they are actually all tied up with the White Tower. And especially Matt, being really tied up with the Horn of Valir.
Is this what you're talking about? You wish that he talked more?
Yeah.
Does that create a liability, though?
Oh, for sure. But, if you can't confide in anybody about anything, that sucks. Who's gonna, legitimately help you? I bet they're all on board with helping him, get the people back and whatever. But,
yeah.
Actually being able to
turns out we're destined to save the world.
Yeah,
right.
And if anyone's gonna help them, it's freaking Tam. Tam's got, nobody and nothing, and he is probably gonna want to help.
Oh,
Rand.
That just broke my heart because Tam is literally Rand was his boy. His wife died. Rand's his boy. Couldn't have kids. He has no other family.
Yep.
Rand's gone.
Well, and then Abel now also his
entire
wife
family's
and
kidnapped.
Daughters are gone, and Matt's across the world doing God knows what.
This is all bad.
Yeah, so they're just the lonely dads. Turns out. So
they're cool, but they're so lonely.
Yeah. Aw. So Tam goes to tell Perrin about his family, but he already knows, and he doesn't want to hear it. And I also want to note that I find it very sad and upsetting that Perrin feels embarrassed to have painful emotions showing on his face.
Yeah.
His entire family died. He learned that news today, and he thinks it's his fault.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, be sad and hurt.
Well, he was ashamed of crying, too, in front of people.
I know. It makes
bad.
me sad.
Yeah.
So then we get a little tidbit about a raven landing in a tree above them. Tam and Abel both shoot it down before Perrin has even knocked his bow, because they are...
Cool dads are on top of it.
Freaking excellent. And we get that those ravens are everywhere nowadays, and they are now privy to the fact that these are the Dark One's spies, probably.
Yes. Most likely,
Definitely.
chance, whatever you want to call it.
So we also get news that there are all sorts of dead animals all around.
Yeah.
It's a man, a big guy with big boot prints, but not quite the size of Trollocs.
Yes. Okay.
And then Perrin immediately thinks,
Is it Bigfoot?
Slayer.
Is Slayer Bigfoot? I don't know. Is that what we're getting at here?
Does Bigfoot wear boots?
Maybe. I'm not to say that he doesn't. I don't know. Gonna get some Bigfoot experts in here. Does he kill a bunch of animals?
Probably.
Okay. Sounds like it.
Yeah.
No time for that now.
No. None at all, actually. We'll think about it later. So Perrin says that he means to get the prisoners free from the White Cloaks. And then Abel says it'll be tough because he tried to go look at the White Cloak camp and he wasn't careful enough and they put an arrow in him and then Tam had to get him back to the Aes Sedai to get healed.
He almost got dead.
So,
but important things, they have about 700 to 800 men. Yeah, at Watch Hill.
Large camp.
Big camp.
Yeah. And the White Cloaks are mostly sticking to Watch Hill and like north. And they've given the rest of the Two Rivers basically over to the Trollocs.
Yeah.
And it's really bad, apparently, down near Devon Ride.
It's all bad. All the like outskirt farms are getting burned too. So
yeah,
like every other night.
Mm-hmm. So even if they get the people free, they have to hope that the Aes Sedai will hide them here. Basically, everyone is going to be like looking out only for their own family.
Yeah. And, like, I kind of get that because parents like, oh, why isn't everybody helping each other?
We
but it's like
risk helping each other because
you're trying to keep your own family alive. And it's like, as much as that sucks, like, I get it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's a reality that
gotta
happens.
Take care
right?
of your own.
So, yeah. So there's a big job ahead of Perrin here.
Yeah. So he says he's going to go tomorrow. He's going to see the White Cloak camp. And he's going to find a way to rescue the people. If only Lan were here. Lan has expert experience in getting prisoners out of White Cloak camps.
That's true.
Right?
He does. Well, he got Perrin out, so.
That's right. And at no point has Perrin even mentioned. He's like, I'm going to get prisoners out of a White Cloak camp. And at no point has he been like, I was one. Like,
yeah. And that's part of the truth thing that he's not really like revealing.
At one point, this happened to me. Like, you know, I get that he didn't want to tell, you know, Maren Alvear that Egwene was also a prisoner in a White Cloak. Like, that'll just make her worry, right? But
yeah, he does say the cool thing about, like, he wants to make sure that the Troggs give the same name to the Two Rivers that they give to the Aiel Waste.
The dying ground.
It's like, that's a pretty cool thing to say.
Yeah. But then Abel says, don't let hate eat away at you. And he goes, nothing is eating me. I will just do what needs to be done. But then he like strokes his axe lovingly. So,
I'm not crazy. You're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm not grieving. You're grieving.
I'm okay with like Perrin out for blood.
Sure.
Like that sounds like he's going to go and do some things. And our favorite thing about Perrin is when he does things.
I like Perrin doing things.
Yeah.
Yep. Take charge, Perrin.
Let's do it.
Do it.
Okay.
Then we get a scene change.
An interesting one.
Yeah. Dane Bornhold. We have him watching the soldiers coming back from a patrol. There are 11 dead and 23 injured from a Trolloc attack, and he thinks, good thing we are so strong and well trained because we would have lost more.
He's part of that.
Oh, he's coming
patrol.
back from it.
He's coming back with them.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right, because then we had a side note about how all the Trolloc attacks lately seem to be planned and organized to attack only the patrols that he has led personally.
Yeah, so this is a third one that has been ambushed, like a planned encounter. He's led it personally, and it only happens to those ones.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he also thinks he seldom drinks.
Right.
It's important later.
Okay. Because he drinks later.
Yeah.
Yeah, on his own, by himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, that's...
Right.
Don't do that.
No.
That is the thing you should not do.
I'm fine with it.
Every once in a while, but
it's
like
nightcap.
not the way that Dane Bornhold's going about it. That's not healthy behavior.
Okay.
Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah, okay. I also just had a note about how funny I think it is that he thinks that his army is so strong and well trained.
Oh yeah.
And whatever.
You're a bunch of schlubs.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, he wouldn't like me saying that they suck, I bet.
Yeah. But I mean, we know that about the White Cloaks. Like, they are a lot of, like, for show.
Yeah, but I do have to note that, and I get that we're in Dane Bornhold's perspective, so that skews things a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But it seems well organized.
It does.
It seems like he's a pretty good leader. He's running, like, stuff like clockwork. So,
but consider this. Back with Jeff from Bornhold's camp, back when Perrin and Egwene got captured, they're good at the whole, like, let's line our horses up in a nice line. Let's make sure our armor's polished and the tents look nice.
Yeah.
But it's like when it comes to actual patrolling, Lan and Nynaeve just like snuck in there, cut the horse lines, rescued the people, didn't get captured. So it's like the visual appearance is nice, like it looks nice.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting because that's what Dane comments on when he's super proud of his camp and how good his soldiers are.
Yeah, everyone
and
looks
how the
pretty.
Prisoners are never going to leave because we have like 20 people watching the tent.
So it's like, yeah, you can bully the villagers who are prisoners. Yeah. Sure, good job, man.
Yeah.
But like, that's the extent of it.
White cloaks suck.
They do suck.
Okay, we have an interesting note. Do you want to talk about it? The Tinkers?
Yeah, apparently.
Woo! Once we know.
Okay, but here's the thing. So Dane is saying that they're going to go free, essentially, but...
Not really.
They get to go south.
Yeah, because the Tinker Camp is cleaning up to move, and Dane calls over Farron...
That was the 100 Man.
100 Man. I thought his last name was 100 Man, and I want to go with that. I think it's funny.
It's like Spider-Man.
Good Friends reference. Okay, so Tinkers are packing up. They're gonna leave. They're just like, fuck you guys. We're out of here. And that's what it seems like. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like Bornhall doesn't want to look after the Tinkers anymore.
Okay, so Farron is instructed to tell the Tinkers they have to move south, and he's not allowed to use any force, just words.
Which is like, they're Tinkers.
Yeah, I know. And we also get that the seeker of this group is named Rain.
Yeah.
So we know them.
We know them. Yeah.
So I wonder who died.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because we know for sure 3 of them died.
Well, here's the thing, too. It's a big group, but... It is. It's a lot. There's a lot of Tinkers here. But my big question is, like, so they're allowed to move south, but we know that there's Trolloc raids everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, where are the Tinkers who literally won't defend themselves against anybody or anything?
Yeah.
Where are they supposed to go?
Yeah. Keep moving.
In this little area? Like, the Two Rivers is medium-sized.
Find the song.
In a circle around the Two Rivers.
Here's the thing, though. Dane doesn't want any traffic in or out of the Two Rivers to avoid rumors and avoid, like, an ambush in the Two Rivers of some kind.
Yeah.
And little does he know that freaking Pat and Thane is ensuring that rumors are getting out into the world about them being here.
Oh, man.
So...
Okay, so...
Contradictory.
It's all bad.
The only other thing I want to say about these Tinkers is that these Tinkers know Perrin.
They do.
Perrin spent time with them.
That's true.
Are we going to have a run-in? Is Perrin going to protect them?
You tell me.
Yes.
Why would they have anybody else? I mean, it's such a good setup. It's like we have that
100%.
previous...
This is an excellent setup, and if it doesn't happen, then it's just disappointing. Okay. Right?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be, right? They're so close.
Yeah, I think it might be disappointing.
It's a misconnections situation.
Yeah, it actually might be, but maybe not. Okay, so, unless Perrin, like, finds them all dead, and it just, like...
Are you going to say that all the Tinkers are going to get murdered next?
Well, at some point, all the Tinkers are going to get murdered because they don't defend themselves. Like, it's just like the world they live in.
Okay.
Anyway, if Perrin finds them dead and recognizes that he knows them, he's going to lose his mind and just murder everyone, and it's going to be awesome.
What about his family?
Yeah, he's already worked up.
It's like, why would the Tinkers throw him over the edge if his family hasn't...
Because the Tinkers rattled him so much.
Maybe.
Like, why would anyone attack them knowing that they're not going to fight back? It's like literally... it would just be the freaking cherry for him.
Okay.
The straw
I get it.
that breaks the camel's back.
Yeah.
That would be enough. He's going to go nuts.
Okay.
I think he's going to go nuts and kill all the White Cloaks.
All individually, just like him versus just like swinging the axe?
And hammer.
Both.
Double.
Dual wielding. There you go. I like it.
Yeah. Anyway.
Typically, you got to spec into that, but that's okay.
All right. Whatever you say.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, so this is where we get Dane feeling a sense of pride about how neat and organized his camp is. And then he thinks that this place, the Two Rivers, really is light forsaken because there are Trollocs here, and that is proof.
Yeah, proves it. Yep.
Also, they're hiding Aes Sedai here because they killed a warder, and that was proof that there are Aes Sedai here.
Yeah, so...
And Dane hates Aes Sedai.
That's true. And as sad as it is that one of the warders got killed, it does give us some confirmation that the Aes Sedai were in fact here before the White Cloaks got here.
Yeah.
So it's like timelines line up, so it's not like they're, misguiding us.
Okay. Okay, and we also get Dane thinking about the prisoners and how they won't try to run if it means leaving any of the others behind, and he doesn't want to use excessive force on them because he doesn't want their village to resent him and rise up against them. And then he also won't let Farron near the girls, which is good. Like, he has learned some morals from his dad.
I mean, there's a few.
Right?
It's like those medium. You're setting the bar super low and barely surpassing
but considering
it.
Jeffrem always thought of Dane as overzealous,
that's true.
Here he's showing leadership and restraint.
Yeah, like, okay, don't torture the prisoners. Don't let Farron rape the girls. Good job, Dane. But anyways.
To be fair, though,
there is tension between...
That is a good job.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I totally get it. There is some tension between him and Bayer right now, because he thinks that Bayer's a fool. Like, we are seeing a little bit of a rift there, too.
Okay.
But unfortunately, he also thinks that he might let them torture the Luhans.
Yeah, because he really, really wants Perrin Ibarra, and he's going to use the Luhans to find out how to get to him.
Yeah, and it's like, one of them's going to break if I torture...
I want to see Mistress Luhan pull a Molly Weasley.
Pull a frying pan out and bash Dane Bornhold's skull in.
Yeah, pull the mama bear and just like...
Ready for it. I am here for that. I'm here for it.
Do you know what I mean when I say pull a Molly Weasley?
Yeah, because she fought off the crazy-haired lady who tried to kill somebody.
Helen Bonham Carter, yeah.
That's the one, yeah. And she's like, get away! And then she like
pulls That's not my daughter, you bitch!
Yeah, there you go.
That's the line. That's straight from the books, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I like that. And you just did a Harry Potter reference.
Yes, I did.
I just realized
it was worth it. It was impromptu and worth it.
That was a good one. I could see Mistress Luhan, Elsbeth Luhan, as a Molly.
Okay, mom-themed shot glasses.
Is that why?
Yeah.
Okay. I have Kauai?
I don't know how to say it.
It's Hawaii?
Yeah, it's from Hawaii.
Kauai.
Yeah. From your mother.
Sorry. From my mother?
Your mother.
Oh my god, okay.
And Jamaica.
From your mother.
/ father.
Father. Okay.
But yes.
There you go.
Gifted from our parents.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Kauai.
Coffee.
Kauai.
Okay.
It's probably Kauai.
Oh.
You okay?
All right. Anyway, so Dane thinks he's going to fuck with the Luhans, but I think the Luhans will probably just fuck with him.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was going to ask. Like,
that's what I'd like to believe.
What's the real possibility here?
I think that what's actually going to happen is Perrin is going to try to get them out and like ambush before
the Luhans get tortured. Okay. I'm for that.
That's the real prediction.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So there's a smaller grocer camp a ways away from them, and we get that is Ordeith's camp.
It's Fane's camp.
Yeah. I go back and forth calling him Thane and Ordeith. And
well, he thinks of himself as Ordeith right now.
He does, yeah. So Dane meets up with Bayer and gets a report that Ordeith is back, and the 2 soldiers that Dane has placed with Ordeith to keep an eye on him are both dead from a Trolloc attack.
Yeah.
But this isn't the first time that this has happened, and Dane cannot contain his fury.
He's losing his cool. But, I mean, that's a thing. He keeps getting ambushed himself by Trollocs, and his men keep getting murdered by Trollocs.
But nobody else in Fane's party gets even injured.
So it's like he's not even trying to hide what's happening.
He's not at all.
So, I mean, this opens up like a whole lot of questions.
Yes. So Bornhold orders Ordeith to be brought to him, and he is so pissed off, he thinks about how Ordeith is obsessed with Emmonsfield, and Dane doesn't really get it.
Yeah, and I mean, it makes sense. It was the same questions that Jeffrem had when he got sent. Is like, why are we here?
Yeah.
Why are we out here in the middle of nowhere with these tiny villages?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then Dane thinks that he might have also had his camp there because of the Perrin thing, right?
Yeah.
But now he has the Luhans, and it makes more sense for them to be more north so they can get across the Terran. It's better military strategy. It's not always personal. But he also wonders for the millionth time what Pedronile was thinking sending Ordeith here.
Yeah. And it's like, so from our perspective as the reader, we know that Ordith is Thane, is Mordeth, is like corrupty.
Infiltrated.
Yeah, infiltrate the top rank. So he clearly did something with like Niall and he got himself here for whatever reason. And the whole question is like, who's really in charge? So we have this weird aspect where Bornhald is being ambushed by Trollocs, which makes it seem like Thane is leading those Trollocs to ambush Bornhald.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's why is Bornhald being singled out here?
Well, Thane doesn't want to have anyone keeping any sort of eye on him about what he's doing.
Yeah, because it's
why
like,
he's doing it.
and we know he's super evil.
Yeah, oh yes.
But it's like, then Thane's men are being attacked by Trollocs, or maybe...
Yeah, Thane wasn't attacked by Trollocs.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, but he also has injured men, but everybody
No, he
under...
doesn't.
He reported.
He says he has injured men, and then they note that there's no injured men.
Okay. So, but that's kind of the question. So it's like, it's just fake and he's just murdering these guys straight up.
100%, yeah.
So is Thane in control of the Trollocs?
He even admits it later.
Okay.
I got that he admitted that he... Oh, we'll get to it.
Yeah, let's get to it then.
Okay.
Let's get to it.
Okay.
We got...
Yeah, because we're getting into it here because now Ordith shows up in Dane's tent and we get through this whole conversation that his accent and demeanor are all like switching around.
Yes. He starts as Thane, the Lugard, and then when Bornhald hits
more
him...
death, yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like there's some serious tension in this camp where he literally smacks...
Yeah, Dane full-on slaps Ordith with his gauntleted hand.
It's like metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ordith threatens him with telling Pedro Niall to hang Bornhald.
With his mother's guts.
And his mother. Yeah.
And your mother.
Yeah.
And your mother.
But Dane says, yeah, if you're alive to tell him.
Yeah.
And then Ordith says that they must work together.
That's when he switches to the non-Lugard, like the might, but that's like the Mordeth accent like that we get. So
here's how we influence people. How to make friends and influence people.
Yeah.
Don't threaten to hang them.
It's like a multi-body experience though, right? So
yeah. So Ordith says they have to work together. He says that the shadow lies all around them here and they have to get those 3 dark friends who are meant to shake the world because their breeding was guided by the Dark One himself. And then he says he has to scourge the land and the 3 will come.
Yes, and that's clearly his plan. And we get further into it now, so...
Okay, because then Bornhald says that he covered up what Thane did at the Ibarra farm.
This is bad.
And Thane is all crazy saying, scourge them, flay them, and all 3 will come.
Okay, so now if we kind of like link up the events, so Thane was the one who went to the Ibarra farm and murdered everybody with his white cloaks. Bornhald covers it up, and then we also got that the Two Rivers folk know that it was white cloaks who attacked Tam's farm and Matt's farm. Right? Abel's farm.
Mm-hmm. Remember last episode that I predicted that the Ibarra farm wasn't attacked by Trollocs?
Yeah, because you're like, well, why were there bodies to bury? Because it's like Trollocs. So
were you impressed with my logic? I'm impressed with
that
my
was
logic.
Fantastic logic. That was absolutely great. That was like spot on.
Thank you.
But then it's like, so was it Thane's white cloaks that went and attacked Rand's farm?
Oh, probably.
And Thane's white cloaks that attacked Abel Cawthon's farm.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that would make sense. So he literally attacked all 3.
Yeah.
And the 2 farms got found out, but that's because nobody got murdered at that farm. And the Ibarras all got murdered, so Bornhald had to cover up that one even more.
Well, what I want to know is who took the Cawthon women, though, right?
Yeah.
Because they're prisoners.
Yeah.
And the Luhans are also prisoners, so that, like, the Cawthon farm is in Emmonsfield, right?
Yeah.
Like, we get that it's not super far away like the other 2.
Yeah, so maybe more visible. But here's the thing, too. We get from Thane's perspective a little bit later, and I'm going to say it now. He thinks about how the Ibarras, like, mocked him.
Yeah, they made fun of him, so that's
control.
why he murdered all of them.
So maybe the Cawthons, when he was there, didn't necessarily mock him, so it was like he retained some self-control and just, like, took them prisoners.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think that the Cawthon farm is the Dane.
Yeah, okay.
And because you got the Luhans, too. I think they went and did their thing.
That's what I was saying at the beginning of this, is, like, it opens up so many more questions.
Convoluted, that's for sure. But I like the win that I got.
You did.
In all the craziness, I got one thing, so I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
So
Makes it super sad.
Yeah,
but...
and Bornhold said that he covered it up because he doesn't want a rebellion and to piss off more people unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Like, he's not stupid.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the best, but he's also not stupid. So...
It just makes me not like White Cloaks.
Okay. Well, who likes White Cloaks? So, he also says that he will not condone the murder of children. And at first, I thought he was still talking about the Ibarra farm.
Okay.
But children is capitalized, and I think that he's back to talking about the soldiers.
Yes, that is what it seems.
Because...
You killed the 2 spies that I sent.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't kill my spies.
And then Thane says, well, the shadow will do whatever is needed to stop me, and I need freedom to do what I want in secret.
Have you considered letting me do whatever I want all the time?
Because I'm just going to keep murdering your men.
Yeah.
And he just straight up admits it at this point.
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and it's totally out there. But it's like a weird thing where, again, it's like Thane saying, oh, well, those 2 spies, I had to kill them. And Bornhold's not necessarily, like, shutting him down. Yeah. It's like, why? What do you need to hide from children?
Well, oh, yes. Okay. So... I feel like Bornhold starts to back off a little bit because Thane mentions that there were gray men who were there to attack and kill them. Yeah. And Thane was the one who, like, caught on, saw them before anyone else did, and
killed them first.
Killed them.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it kind of, like, whenever I read that, it kind of reads like it could have been Thane... like creating this scenario.
It could have been, but then right away we're going to get that it's not. So yeah, let's move through it here because I feel like we've dissected everything that we can a little bit out of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Because then Thane leaves and Bornhold thinks, I need a drink.
And there we go.
Yeah. But like fair.
No, I get it too. I get it.
Yeah. Okay. So then we get a scene change and we're in Thane's head and I just right away go, oh no.
This is going to be bad.
This is going to be terrible. I hate being in his head. It's so gross. So we get that he's the man who calls himself Ordith.
Yeah.
And we get a little bit of a callback to the Dark Friend social.
Hey, what are you saying?
The man who calls himself Bors. I don't know, just like it's just the
way.
Okay, yeah. Because it's not his actual name, so he's like going by it and it's just a funny way.
The way you said that, I thought you meant that it's the same person. It's not. We already know who Bors is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. A white cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so Thane thinks about how he might have to dispose of Bornhold if he's no longer useful for him. And I believe that he would.
And Bayer is much easier to handle.
Right. Because he's a bigger idiot, basically.
Yeah.
So he passes the prisoner's tent and thinks they can wait because they're bait for now. And he thinks about how he should have controlled himself at the Ibarra farm, but they made fun of him and he didn't like that.
And it was their fault that he murdered them all.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he can feel that one of the boys are here towards Emmonsfield. He knows it's not Rand, and that's really the only one who matters to him.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, absolutely.
And he thinks that rumor has not drawn Rand here yet.
You gotta do more.
Right. So he thinks first Althor, then the tower, for what they have taken from me. And my first thought is the dagger.
That makes sense.
Mordeth, and he knows it's in Tarvalon somehow. But then my second thought is Rand. So he blames Rand for the fact that he was like treated like...
Yeah, he was like tortured.
And he had to just like run and eat like lizards, and he barely slept, and he had to sleep in a Trollocs cookpot, and
all that stuff.
All of that stuff. And I think that he blames maybe the Aes Sedai for taking Rand out of the Two Rivers when Rand was really supposed to go to the Shadow, like Thane's original plan.
Like on Winter Night. Night. That was supposed to go down.
And it's the Aes Sedai's fault that didn't go the way he wanted, and that's why he was punished.
You know, I could see Thane, like, just pointing fingers at literally anybody he can.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to come at this from a rational, perspective.
No, but I was thinking about, like, what did they take from him? And it's like they took a lot of his, like, life, his dignity, his everything. Like, who he is now is because his plan didn't go the way he wanted it at Winter Night.
But we also know who hates Aes Sedai. Mordeth hates Aes Sedai. Like, right from the get-go, doesn't like him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's reasons.
Yep. So everything has been going just like swimmingly for Thane now until another one showed up with his gray men. And on the second read through, that makes a lot more sense because it's this Fade.
Okay. Yeah.
So the Fade showed up with the gray men, and that caused a little bit of a wrench in his plan.
Okay.
But he thinks nothing can kill me. I've survived since the Trolloc Wars.
Uh-huh.
So that's more death.
Good things to say out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. So multiple Fades have come.
Yeah.
This one, well, we get what happens here.
Yeah, so all the White Cloaks in his camp have basically all been corrupted now and have abandoned basic hygiene, it seems like.
Uh-huh.
So he has a freaking Fade captured and chained up in his tent.
Yes, as a prisoner. And it's like super bright in there, so the Fade can't do his shadow tricks.
Yep.
Yep.
And Thane is making some fucked up deal with an almost literal devil.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
He asked the Fade if he has thought over his proposal, and if he accepts, then he can walk free, but if he doesn't, then he will suffer, and the Fade agrees.
Uh-huh. He does. One thing I noticed about Thane's little rant, we'll call it, he says, I can make you scream through endless dying, forever screaming. The whole screaming thing is very Machin Shinny.
Yeah. Well, and I was actually thinking that too when he was like, flay them, scourge them.
Yeah.
Like that is also very Machin Shinny.
Yeah, Machin Shinny.
Yeah.
It's just like all the things that are, Thane bundled into one.
It's so
all
bad.
coming out.
Yeah. Just so many levels of evil.
Yeah, and then the Fade begins to sweat because whatever this deal is, do you have any speculation about this deal?
No.
I mean, this is a tough one, so.
Well, and I mean, like, obviously he's making deals with Fades to make their Trollocs attack only Dane and Dane Bornhall's guys, right?
Well, that's a big question. That kind of answers the whole, like, how much control does Thane have over the Trollocs?
All of it. He has all the control.
But it's only through the, torturing of the Fades that may be leading the Trollocs. So it's like the relationship is a little fuzzy still.
Yeah.
Things
but
I
he
think
does 100% have control of some of the Trollocs.
At least enough to do things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And at least enough for him not to get attacked.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the end of this chapter.
Yeah.
Should we go right into the next one?
I think so.
Okay. So chapter 32, questions to be asked. We get the Dragon's Fang Dark Friend picture.
Yeah, and that's an interesting one to get, I think.
Well, they all think he's a Dark Friend. They all think Perrin's a Dark Friend in this chapter. So that's why we get it.
Okay. I mean, it's kind of, you come up on both sides of the fence there, where it's like, there's speculation about Perrin being a Dark Friend, but at the end of the chapter, it's not like they settle on the fact that he's a Dark Friend. They're like, we trust you.
Yeah, but they have to get there.
Okay, so that's why.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're back to Perrin's view. It's the next morning. He clearly plans to go with Tam and Abel to check out the White Cloak camp and maybe go. I'm not really sure what his plan is at this point, but apparently Varen knows his plan and says, we're gonna leave right away.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Isle are going, and Varen and Thomas and Tam and Abel and Fael and Perrin.
Yeah. But Varen's announcement of coming with them surprises everybody, and then Varen's like, you're not gonna trick me.
Yeah.
I'm coming with you, So that's funny. And then Perrin feels the need to look at Alana and be like, you can come too. You don't have to be left alone here.
But she's not.
She's like, nah.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
Yeah, we get a neat little note there where she's sort of admiring Perrin sometimes, but also not.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Perrin's perspective, so it's like what's really happening.
Who knows? He doesn't get women.
Ah, so complex. Yeah.
So he also notes that he really doesn't want Fael going with them. He wishes that she would just stay here. But she's like, oh, I'd just love to see the countryside or something stupid.
It's as bad as that whole Varen's just here for the stories.
Yeah. And she goes, my father raises sheep. I'd like to see sheep.
Yeah.
And then he sort of calls her...
Hey, I thought you said your father was a merchant.
Yeah. Calls her bluff a little bit. And she's like, well, yeah, he's a merchant and he raises sheep. What? No.
Yeah, so I mean, we got to talk about this because then he thinks that, maybe he's poor and does both, or she's hiding. I mean, obviously
It's
we're missing something.
Definitely gonna make us question what the heck's going on with Fael's backstory.
Okay, so what's the prediction? What, when is Fael?
Okay, when we were in her head,
Yeah.
and she was thinking about how much better she is than Berylane,
Sure.
she angrily thought about how good she is at the language of the fans or something, and something else. She seems more highborn than she's letting on. Like, that's my interpretation of
So
it.
you're leaning on the upper end of the direction of the my father's a merchant versus the lower end where he's a poor guy?
Well, not merchant. I think that it's probably like a lord or something. Like,
Okay.
you know, it's either end of the spectrum, and I hate being so wishy-washy, because it's either like she thinks she's so good because she's highborn, and like that's why she has this like name that she has, which means like lady who sits on a pillow and getting fanned by feathers.
Or she's like
Or
Aladdin.
she's like super poor. Yeah. And she's like taught herself the
like
language
street
of the
urchin
fan.
level of,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's either one or the other, and she's trying to
upper end, lower.
she's trying to just be like middle ground.
Okay. No, I like it.
I think that she's probably like a highborn lady who she reminds me of like Arya a little bit, who like didn't want to.
Oh yeah.
She didn't want to, like, of Game of Thrones. She didn't want to sit and do the needlework and all the stuff the ladies were supposed to do.
She wants to learn
She
how
wants
to
to
fight.
learn how to use the sword.
Yeah.
And so she ran off to, hunt for the Horn of Valir, probably against family wishes if she's highborn.
Okay. I
like that theory.
That's a
what
good
I'm gonna
comparison.
go with.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I don't know. I feel like I'm wrong, but I like it, so I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
And then Perrin just remembers Master Cawthon's method. I don't know how much sheep shearing you'll see, but I'll be happy for your company.
Come on along. Yeah.
And like, good.
You know
this is actually like the best communicating and like understanding each other that they've done so far.
So here's the thing about Marin's advice and, the the cool dad's advice about handling the opposite sex. It's not actually bad advice where it's like, let the little things go. Don't try to control and nitpick everything your partner does.
Yeah, it's wrapped in a controlling blanket. It's like, it's like good advice wrapped in, here's how to control them by thinking you're not controlling them. Like, it's very manipulative.
It is,
but
yeah. If you like whittle it down to what's actually happening, it's like, let the little things go. If something's important to you, speak up. But otherwise, just go with it.
Just chill a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wrapped in, like, manipulative techniques, but it's actually decent advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Because this is, like, the best their relationship has been
so
far.
It's like these 20 minutes has been great.
And he thinks he's being manipulative when he's really just being nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Loyal has to stay behind.
Yeah, he can't come.
Aww.
He's too big.
Yeah,
and unwieldy.
He'll really stand out.
Yeah.
His ears droop. He really wants to come. It's so sad.
Yeah. How do you feel about this mission? Perrin kind of sets him on like I have a task for you.
Yeah.
Spy
it's kind of like how you talk to a child.
Yeah. Hey, so buddy, you can't come with me to the store.
But can you do something for me?
I got a big mission for you. Big task. You got to do this.
You got to do this for me. It'll be such a big help. Oh, we'll all be so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And I love Loyal's reaction where he's like, but have you considered, Perrin, just letting the Aes Sedai, again, do whatever they want all the time and don't ask them any questions? Have you thought about that?
Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
Because
that's what I want to do.
Everyone would be so much happier if you would just do that.
Let that happen.
Yeah. Okay, so off go the band of misfits.
Yeah, and we're gonna travel for about 10 pages here.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
It does feel that way, mostly because that's what happens.
Okay, so some tidbits about their journey.
Yeah, like stuff happens.
Yeah,
but,
so we get Varen a little bit interested in the fact that Perrin chose to take his hammer with him.
Yes, yeah, she does.
Because she knows him with his axe, right?
The last time that she saw Perrin, he had an axe, I'm pretty sure, because he picked up the hammer in Tyr.
Yeah.
And she hasn't seen him since then.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Anyway, that's just a point to make.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, it's different.
Yeah. Abel Cawthon likes horses.
Yeah.
Knows a lot about them.
Yep.
go.
We know about Matt knowing about his dad knowing about horses.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also get Perrin being self-conscious about the whole wolf thing because he thinks that Varen knows about the wolves.
Yeah, so I mean that's a good point too, because Browns know a lot of stuff, and he's thinking, because we've got this callback a few times where it's like maybe Elias can help him through things, but Elias clearly isn't here right now.
No.
So maybe Varen can be like the replacement for Elias. But you've called that Perrin and Elias are gonna reunite at some point, kind of, sort of.
Reunited.
Yeah.
And it's gonna feel so good.
How dare you?
Yeah. Okay, so Perrin ultimately just thinks everything would be much easier without those damned Aes Sedai around.
Yeah, right?
Except, my thought here is if he would share about his escape from the White Cloak camp previously, like how much does he know? Does he know that Moraine caused lightning to cause a big stir and a distraction?
Yeah, we don't know the extent of the conversations.
Is that allowed? Like you know how they were just talking about how they can't use the one power for certain things, but if I just feel like a fireworks show.
I just want to scare people. Scaring isn't one of the three. I can't scare people.
No, they do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they could be super helpful in this scenario.
I agree. And we did get it where it's like they don't want to call too much down on themselves.
And you know what's not against the rules, probably? Just literally holding 800 people in air.
Ah, okay. But again, this is one of the thoughts that Perrin does have, because that's a legitimate thing. Perrin thinks that I don't know if Rand is stronger than these two Aes Sedai combined. Right. It's like, yes, we know that Rand is so far above all these people.
Yeah.
But it's like Perrin doesn't necessarily have the understanding.
He's like, can Varen also just kill all the Trollocs here?
And he saw what Moraine was doing, but Moraine is super powerful. She's top 10 in the tower, plus she had the Angreal.
Yeah.
And she was wiped out afterwards. So it's his perspective of not being a channeler is a little bit skewed because he doesn't get how it works.
Right. Okay.
So
let's move into a little bit about this relationship that might be on the mend.
Okay.
Well, really what we get is Faile is going to protect Perrin against the Aes Sedai in some way. She's like, don't worry.
Well, she trusts
Varen. Harm you.
Yeah, she trusts her. So
yeah, and I guess at this point they don't really have any other choice but to trust her.
Yeah.
So we also haven't talked about how the Aiel are just so good at being unseen and sneaking around. We get it a lot in this series, but here specifically we get another, hey, in case you forgot, the Aiel are really fucking good at camouflage.
Well, it's funny because when we first met, really the Aiel, it's they're in the mountains and they can hide hidden anywhere.
Yeah.
And then even with the girls, with the maidens who pop up out of the hole in the ground, out of nowhere, and now they have got this forest to hide in.
Yeah, except when they're not in the forest, there's only, now we're riding into farmland.
Yeah, it's where are they?
Yeah.
They're there.
Yeah. And they keep letting themselves be seen a little bit.
Just to let them know.
That they're there.
Plus they're hunting on the side.
Yeah, they also have rabbits and they're, oh man.
They're just the best.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
They're so cool. Okay, we also get some tidbit here about how Trollocs haven't actually attacked Emond's Field directly, and they've only basically heard word that Trollocs have attacked farms on the outskirts.
Yeah, and this is where all the information kind of starts getting a little bit fuzzy, because we do get that there's maybe around 200 Trollocs-ish. The Aes Sedai have killed...
But how do they know that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we know that the Aes Sedai have killed some Trollocs and a couple of Fades. And they're estimating by what's still happening that there's probably around a couple hundred Trollocs.
Okay.
And that's from Tam's experience too. That's kind of coming from. So
right, and then Perrin just starts asking questions. He wants to know what's going on here. What happens if all those Trollocs go attack, Emond's Field? And Tam's like, well, they haven't yet, so.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point that Perrin's picking out here, is that if there are 300 Trollocs, if they all attack at the same time at nighttime to the Emond's Field, the place is going to get burned to the ground. And Abel's like,
we're lucky.
Getting lucky.
I love that he says, oh, it's luck. That's like the mat.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the thing. And we don't really know why they aren't.
Right. But then we get Fail, who's from Saldea.
Yes.
Who knows about Trolloc attacks.
Yeah.
And is like, why haven't you been asking these questions? Like, where are these Trollocs coming from? What's going on? How are we going to stop them?
Well, I mean, she does seem to have firsthand experience. Like, it does seem like she is actually from Saldea. And, not regarding what her father's job is.
No, nothing like that. But she has seen the aftermath of Trolloc raids.
Yeah.
And she's like, they kill and burn and eat
they
everything.
Take people.
They do everything. And if they haven't been doing that here...
There's a reason.
Yeah. And let's think about that.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I don't 100% like how Fael's coming at it. Because she's like,
not.
Perrin's smarter than all you guys.
She's Fael. Of course we don't like how she's coming across. That's her character.
But I mean, and Tam's like, well, I thought of it, but I just can't figure out why. So
yeah, and luck is a good answer as any.
Yeah, but then Varen jumps in, and she's got a hypothesis
that it's a lure, a trap,
some sort of trap. Yep. But again, we don't really get much more than that, except that it might be like trying to cause a war. Because that's the whole thing. Like, we know that Two Rivers technically is Andor land.
Well, yeah, and then Varen's hypothesis is something about how Morgaze and her guards are gonna come,
Okay, but that's the thing.
I don't get it. I don't know any of it.
Okay. So we know they're in Two Rivers. Technically, it's Andor land, but we know that from Morgaze's perspective that they don't send anybody that way to Two Rivers. So technically, it's on the map, but she's still possessive of it. So if she finds out there's Trollocs, but then if she also finds out there's like a contingent of White Cloaks here, then it might like cause a stir where then Andor soldiers get sent, versus the White Cloaks versus the Trollocs. So it might be some sort of like, dark friendly plot to cause a rift between Andor and the White Cloaks and the Two Rivers and just like cause shit.
Yeah, and nope. That doesn't seem right to me.
Well, and Morgaze has her own problems going on right now.
Oh my god, which we haven't talked about in literally forever.
Because it's not going to be Morgaze doing anything right now. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll talk more about that when we get back to Elaine.
Yeah.
And
it's
we'll
not
see
like
if there
right
are
now.
still people who are out to kill her. Because
So
that's like the biggest thing we have to worry about over there.
Yeah.
Am I so bored with this plot that now I'm jumping? Okay,
You are.
Let's get back to this though.
I was going to say, like, it doesn't seem possible that Andor is going to send soldiers because we know that Morgaze isn't, like, in control right now.
Oh, not at all. And
So, even if she was.
Nah, the Two Rivers is just such a backwater place, even though she's heard of it and, like, met maybe someone from the Two Rivers.
Maybe Tam?
It's Tam, right? Yeah, it's Tam.
Maybe. We don't know.
Anyway, they don't want war, but this also sucks. So, like, what are you doing about it except just accepting it?
Yeah.
That's basically the biggest point.
That's it.
And all in all, Perrin puts together that if the Two Rivers are a bait of some trap, the trap is set for Rand.
Yes.
That's the biggest thing, and he knows it.
Yeah. And I mean, in a large sense, we know it too because Thane seems to be directing this stuff.
Right. But then he's also like, I'm just a simple blacksmith, not the Dragon Reborn, so obviously traps aren't set for me.
Yeah.
I'm not walking into any traps.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
Although he does know that the White Cloaks want him personally.
That's true. Like, yeah. It's all very messy. These chapters didn't really clarify things a lot.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, they're going to keep riding basically in silence for the rest of the morning. And they're going to come and go to the Alcine farm.
Yeah. So the plan for today is by the end of the day, by like nighttime, they should make it to Watch Hill. But halfway through the day is the Alcine farm.
They need a rest.
Yeah.
And we've heard of Will Alcine.
He's the good-looking one.
He's the good-looking guy who kisses all the girls.
He is. That's the one. And unfortunately, we passed the Ayellan's farm, which is like a bunch of dead people now.
Yeah.
So their farm got burned down and murdered.
Yeah, that's bad too.
That's bad.
Yeah. Now, is that confirmed Trollocs or confirmed White Cloaks, or we still don't know?
So that one seems more Trolloc-y, just for the fact that they don't want to talk about like the lack of bodies and things like that.
Oh yeah, that's 100% Trollocs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that someone needs to start asking questions about if it was really Trollocs at the Ibarra farm, considering
Yeah.
Well, we know.
Yeah, unfortunately, like Tam, we don't know that he has a lot of experience with Trollocs.
Yeah.
We know he's got experience with like the Aiel because he was in that
wars
war.
And armies.
Yeah,
And, yeah,
but not necessarily Trolloc specific.
Got it.
Okay, so they basically get to the farm. The Aiel aren't going to come with them because they're just going to cause a stir.
Yeah.
Gull and the girls
There's
don't
something
like
happening.
each other. They're going to eat separately.
Yeah.
Okay, go for it, guys. Whatever. So at this farm, we get that there are a bunch of families that have like banded together that all live here at this big farm.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of boys up on the roof being
They have a plan.
It
I love
reminds me
this,
a little
yeah.
bit of like Walking Dead.
It is 100%. That's
Right?
great. Yeah.
Where there's like people on watch
Yeah.
on top of the roof.
It's like strength
Yeah.
in numbers, a bunch of families, the cousins, everybody comes in. You got the people on watch, you got the, people inside, and everyone's working in as a cohesive unit. I like it.
Yeah. So basically the Alcenes just took in a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's like his cousin Witt's people and the Lewin's people. So it's like a bunch of families, and all those families have a bunch of people.
And not Luhans.
Lewin, yeah. You were going to confuse those? Oh my god.
Oh my
okay.
god.
But hey.
Oh, a past crush who Perrin thought he might have married one day.
Yeah, a
is
little bit of a
apparently
callback.
married with a baby.
Okay. But this is funny because in the whole homecoming sequence, it's like you move away and then you come back to your high school crush and it's like, boom, she's married and has a baby.
They moved on.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
moved on and you're no longer in the picture. But
Yeah.
also, jelly monster situation here. I love it.
100%. But we have that his high school crush, whoever, was named Lila.
Yeah.
Or Layla. And
Yeah.
that's how we were going to spell Lila's name. But then we figured that nobody in North America would know that it's Lila and they would call her Layla.
Like a definite way to pronounce it. So.
Laila is like the Hebrew way to spell it.
Yeah.
It's more typical in Europe. It's like in English to say Layla, whereas other languages pronounce it Lila.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting fact.
Yep.
So, Layla's a Lewin now.
Layla or Lila is a Lewin now.
Yeah.
But it's really funny because it's like Perrin in his own mind thinks, oh, she liked to dance, but the dude she married isn't much of a dancer, so how does that work?
He never could dance.
So
he never could dance.
How
yeah.
much is Perrin like staring at this girl, and is that why Fael's like making eyes at
and
the good-looking
chatting
one?
up Will Alcine.
Right?
Yeah.
And then Perrin comes over and does a whole like, oh, this is my wife.
Yeah, he like puts his arm around her and yeah.
It's such a funny
It's
like
a
little
really funny scene.
considering it's from Perrin's perspective, so like how accurate is this actually being portrayed here?
Yeah. I don't know. I like it. It doesn't matter.
It's pretty
Because
funny.
Will gets that Perrin is totally with this outside, like,
Yeah.
interesting, well-traveled woman. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing fine. And then he's like, oh, I'm not going to let Fael know I was jealous.
Yeah,
Not that I was. And it's like, okay, because she totally knows. And she just goes, Perrin. And she thinks it's funny. I think.
Little beer tug.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where she digs it if he's a little bit like,
Possessive.
yeah, she's into it.
Well, it's not quite as possessive as we've seen from both of them in the past. Like, this is legitimately, she was talking up the notoriously good-looking, gonna kiss your girl guy.
Right?
Yep.
And he just sort of comes over and he's like, no. Don't even bother, Will Alcine. I don't know. I don't know why I'm okay with this and not okay with other things, but...
I don't know, Perrin. I don't see no ring on that finger.
Right?
Or whatever the equivalent is. I mean...
She didn't embroider no shirt for you.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we get into this big old family meeting.
Yeah.
And it goes on for a couple pages.
Like a while.
And it's basically like, are you a dark friend? And he's like, no. And they're like, cool.
Can I give you like the down low on
Do
all of
it,
it? Okay.
please.
So number one, old lady, Mistress Alcine pokes Perrin with a stick. No one's talking about Perrin's eye color.
Talks about his eye color, but I think they're wary of him.
Well, I mean, that's what the White Cloaks are talking. They're like, Perrin Ibera has got yellow eyes and he's a dark friend. So it's like the one thing that's notable they're not going to talk about.
Yeah.
And then it's like they get to the farm, they get in there, Tam and Abel, everybody knows them. So Jack's like trying to welcome them and everything like that. Like it's all pretty easygoing. Varen's just here for the stories, and we've heard that before.
Yeah, that was Moraine's bit.
Yeah, but I do want to point out that Perrin does think that Fael looks pretty beautiful in her like nice green dresses, and she looks nobly born.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He's proud of her.
Yeah, because she's like kind of playing up the part of like being
Well, and he gets to show off his like hot
like
foreign, not foreign. That's not the word I'm looking for.
But she is foreign to
exotic.
Yeah, is that better? Is that worse?
You know, it's better because it's like, oh, look at this. All you country bumpkins all intermarry, and like, look at this chick I got here. So
yeah, I mean that's exactly what it is, though, in like a lot of senses. So, and like obviously word is spread about Perrin, but they've got Tam and Abel vouching for them, and everybody trusts them. And then the one thing we do get is Flan's wife Adina
is a bitch,
total asshole, because she's like, well, what about the fact that all these things, then they ran off with the Aes Sedai, and then like the entire Emmons field burned to the ground. So he's totally a dark friend.
Yeah.
And they call her out, and then eventually they're like,
but I
okay.
mean, like, to be fair, she has a point. All those things did happen.
She does have, well, sort of, not the way she says. Like, Emmons field didn't burn to the ground.
No, but it was attacked by Trollocs, and then and then they ran off with an Aes Sedai. And then the White Cloaks show up saying that they're dark friends. Like, yeah. I get why people are going to be wary.
I get it too. But the entire, like, Alcine farm, in large part...
these people with such a narrow worldview.
They do. But they kind of come over and it's like, Perrin, okay, we trust you. You're not a dark friend. Thomas does have a good point where it's like, who are you going to trust? Are you going to trust, like, these White Cloaks who came in here and burned down your farms?
Yeah, or are you going to trust...
Or you can
Tam and Abel and Perrin.
And like Perrin, you've known him for your entire life. So they do kind of come across as like, yes, maybe not Flan's wife. We don't really 100% know.
Who cares? I bet we're never even going to ever see her again, so it doesn't even matter.
Oh, is that a prediction?
Yeah.
Never again. Never see her.
Who cares?
And one thing that Perrin does do is he comes clean about the fact that he killed White Cloaks.
Yes, he does do that. Because he's like, well, why do they want you? And he's like, well, I had to defend... Yeah. People I cared about and myself.
They killed my friend.
Yeah.
They were going to kill me. I had to do it. He doesn't mention that friend was a wolf.
Yes.
But that doesn't matter.
That's like his closest ally. Like, that's literally his closest friend.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about that, though.
No.
So.
And they did, and they deserve to die for that because Hopper is clearly the best character in the book.
I agree with that. So... Nothing else happens.
Nothing.
And then...
Lord Luke is coming!
At the very end, we get the fact that Lord Luke is coming.
I'm excited.
That is so exciting.
Yeah, I hope we're in Fael's perspective for that. I just want to know if she knows him or not.
Do you remember what Meryn said about Lord Luke?
Can you tell from my blank stare that I 100% know exactly what you're talking about?
Yeah, so when we first got introduced to the whole Lord Luke thing, you were like, who's Lord Luke? And then we immediately got answered that he's a hunter.
Well, he's a hunter for the horn.
Yeah, and then Meryn was like, oh, he's such a gentleman, so well-mannered. And Bran was like,
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
He's probably like a good-looking dude.
He's probably not good-looking, right? So, But I mean, hey.
Okay. That was a lot.
It was, yeah.
About these, like, basically nothing chapters. So.
Yeah.
One quick thing to mention before we wrap it up.
Yes, very exciting.
This episode's coming out on a Friday on double release week, and a really exciting thing is happening today on Friday, February 26th. We are closing a giveaway for a Ranland map by Andy Laff Designs. If you haven't entered yet, go check it out. If you're listening to this on the day that it comes out.
Yes, on Friday.
On Friday. If it's like a year from now,
you're too late. You're too late, guys.
I want somebody a year from now to tell me I'm listening to this now. But
February 26, 2021.
Yeah, if you're listening to it now, go find us on Instagram, the Wheel Weaves Podcast, and enter because we are drawing a winner for this print, an 18-inch by 24-inch print of the Ranland map tonight.
Awesome. Go do it.
Check it out.
You've got barely no time left. Go do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with that being said, I'm going to say that this is part of the pattern now.
Yeah, it's part of the pattern.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. The Wheel Weaves is hosted by Dani and Brett, edited by Dani, produced by Dani and Brett with Passion Socks, Mozheim, Moltude, Benjamin, Vince Lewick, Michelle O'Brien, Sarah Wyatt, Jamie Young, Cody Fouts, and Giannis. With music by Audionautics.com. If you're interested in some of our Wheel Weaves merchandise, such as shot glasses, frosty mugs, t-shirts, hats, and more, you can head over to newcreationsbyjen.com, and we are located in the groups or collections section. If you're interested in supporting us and helping us to make really great content, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thewheelweavespodcast, and you'll also get access to some really great bonus content like early access to our regular episodes, bonus episodes, unedited video episodes, access to our live recordings, monthly Q&As, and more like stickers and keychains. Don't forget to find us on social media. We're on Instagram and Twitter at The Wheel Weaves Podcast. We'd also love for you to join the conversation over at our Discord, and you can find the link to that in our bios on those social medias. We'd love for you to tell a friend about us. Referrals really are the best compliment. We'd love for you to leave a review and subscribe. That really does make a huge difference. Thanks so much again for listening. This really is part of the pattern now.